Let the games begin.
Fame is temporary, pride is forever, and no one remembers second place.
Chris works in a chocolate factory and, just like an after-dinner chocolate, he's minted.
By the power of chocolate!
Brilliant! A real-life Willy Wonka.
No pain. No pain.
Let's hope so, Chris. Oh, this looks good.
The pain, get through. Just keep going, no pain. But I did feel lots of pain.
Right, normally at this point, I'm sat at my PC about to introduce the next guest. But I'm not at my PC, am I? I'm actually in Birmingham. Why is that? Well, it's because it would just so happen that Chris is not on Zoom today. He's actually in person with me. So, say hello, Chris.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, very good, thank you. Nice day.
I know, picked a good day for it. And basically, the reason why we're doing it out here, it just so happens I'm up watching some of the Commonwealth Games. Chris is in town as well, so we thought, why not? Let's just do it in person, and makes a change from Zoom, because I think the whole world is a bit fed up of Zoom these days.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, we thought this would be a chance to go into a bit more detail about, you know, your time on the show. Obviously, you won it. Was it episode 4 you did? Series 3?
Series 3, episode 4, that's correct, yes.
Yeah. Got a nice bit of money from that as well.
Yeah, nice £10,000.
It helps, yeah.
Absolutely.
You can almost fill up your tank of petrol these days with that.
Only just halfway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, yeah, basically the idea with this is that hopefully you can give us a bit more of an insight into, you know, what it was like on your show, anything that people wouldn't know about, you know, sort of normally, and then we'll also talk about some of your other hobbies and interests as well. So get a bit more of a rounded out view, because basically Wipeout was one of those shows that you never had the behind the scenes, and you know we just saw everyone fall off things and then on to the next one.
Yeah,
whereas these days we have all sorts of, you know, behind the scenes shows. So that's what we're trying to do now. We're trying to fill the gap for this sort of thing, you know. So right, so basically let's talk about with the show. What made you apply in the first place?
It was quite interesting actually. I hadn't heard of the show before.
Right.
It was a Saturday evening.
Yeah.
I was in the kitchen making dinner for the kids, and there was some absolutely incredible belly laughing coming from the living room.
Right.
And like, it was like, what's going on in there? What's going on in there?
Yeah.
It's like, popped my head around. They were watching some strange show on TV. Carried on, and it happened pretty much for the whole hour.
Okay, if you ever want the unpredictability of doing things live, a gust of wind came and just blew my camera over. Don't worry, we'll carry on anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll leave that in.
Yeah, it'll go on the bloopers show.
Exactly.
Bloopers reel.
Yeah.
So my kids were laughing, really, really laughing. It weren't just chuckles, it was full on belly laughing. And I timed my visit into the living room just as someone was bouncing off these big red balls.
Right.
And I ended up leaving the dinner and just watching the rest of the show. It was hilarious.
It is one of those addictive sort of things,
it was.
isn't it? Yeah.
And I ended up watching it like every week, and I think it was about the second show. I thought, I've got to give this a go.
Yeah.
I've really got to give this a go. If my kids to see me on the telly, like, I'd be the hero. It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And I looked in, I went online, went onto the BBC website, and I thought, I'm going to have a look, see how I can apply, and there it was. You know, I applied to be on Total Wipeout.
Yeah.
Typed in as creative as you possibly could.
Do you know, I'm curious about something now, because for your series, did you have to mail in your application, or could you actually do it online? Because for Series 2, everyone had to still mail it in. So I
remember actually, and it's funny because we've just moved desks at work.
Yeah.
And I was emptying my desk and I found my application form.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I actually had to mail it in.
Yeah.
But I did 2 copies, so I did a rough draft first. And then obviously wrote it out all nice and neat to send in. But I've still got my rough copy, so it was mailed in.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was mailed in at the time. So
what
it was a long time ago.
I know. That's the thing. I mean, this is a bit of a grey area for us, because this is like, it's 2009.
2010.
Oh,
it was aired 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that time is moving by so quick now.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, for how long did you have from the time you applying to being told you got an audition? What sort of time frame were you looking at?
I've got to be honest, I can't remember because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But I do remember it felt like forever.
Yeah.
The audition, I think the audition time, it was weeks. It was literally weeks. I got to the point, I mean, I think that the show had actually ended.
Right.
and then I'd forgot all about it, and then I'd got the call.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was quite lucky in that respect, and obviously got me
Yeah.
all excited
Yeah.
again. But yeah, there was quite a while between timings at the time
Yeah.
of applying and then get through to the audition, because I do remember sitting waiting, you know,
Yeah.
by the phone. But
Yeah.
you know, am I going to get called up?
Yeah.
Am I going to get called up? Please let me get
That's
called
it,
up.
yeah.
And then like I'd forgot all about it, and then one day I got a phone call, and like, would you like to come to Birmingham? In fact, it was the.
Oh, so it was around here that you
It was in
auditioned?
Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh, on
auditioned in
doorstep,
Birmingham.
That helps, yeah.
I think it was the NIA.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was.
Well, literally.
Yeah.
Just so you know, that is the NIA in
I'm
the background.
sure it was the NIA. Yeah, I came for an
Brilliant,
audition.
yeah. Oh, there's a point. Did they ask you to dress up for the audition?
Yeah, so basically they wanted us to dress up as something that represented you.
Right.
You know, something that helped explain who you are as a person, or
Yeah.
you know, could be a hobby or anything like that. So I did a lot of martial arts. So I went in my karate gi.
Right.
And I thought, well, you know, someone else could turn up in a karate gi. How can I mix it up? So I created a headband, and put bonsai on it, and you've probably seen it in the show, but I thought I'd market myself as the bonsai brummie. So
Right.
that was what I actually did for my audition. I was the bonsai brummie.
Right. Of course, you've reminded me of something else, because no matter what we do at the audition, and even when we're on set, you sort of, we don't know how we're going to get edited, do
No,
you? It's
no,
just a
absolutely.
complete, until it goes to air, they don't tell us a thing.
Yeah.
So it's a complete unknown. So what I'm curious about is, okay, so you do the audition. A friend of mine gave me an advice, and she basically said, just swallow your pride and go and make an idiot of yourself.
Yeah.
Was that
It
what you
pretty
went
much
for?
was. I was extremely nervous. Luckily, I was about halfway through, and I got a good idea. I could see how they were warming to people.
Yeah.
So initially, there were some people that were just going through the motions,
Yeah.
and they looked pretty good doing the few obstacles.
Yeah.
You know, they were trying to make them all
Yeah.
sporty. I think we had to do pull-ups, and then do this miniature obstacle course. And then we had a mock interview.
Was there like a little balance beam or something that you had to
Yeah,
run
there
up?
was as well. There was, and then a little bar that you had to jump over.
That's
Yeah,
oh,
so-
it's the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
same as what we had in
So
series 2. Yeah.
I saw some people that they were bog standard. They weren't standing out.
Yeah.
I thought I've got to make myself stand out from the crowd. So I pretty much had an out of body experience, and I approached every obstacle as if I was doing like
Yeah.
karate. I was doing my kata, and
Yeah.
I'd jump onto things. I'd do a flying kick off,
Right.
and then I got to the one stage where we had to sort of get to this obstacle where you just sort of get to one end to
Yeah.
the other, and I started off
Yeah.
doing these power punches.
Right,
going on.
yeah.
Then I flipped into doing a ballerina pirouette,
Right.
and then I'm trying to do the split, so
Yeah.
that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I just flamboyantly threw myself over and did a 360 gambol over.
Oh, that's
the
right,
thing.
because they have that little bar that you have to like hurdle
Yeah,
over. don't
hurdle
you?
over,
That's
and
it,
everyone
yeah.
was jumping. I thought
Yeah.
I'm going to throw myself
Yeah, you've got
over.
to do something different.
Yeah, I just launched
Yeah.
myself over it, and then I just sort of like pretend I was in the Olympics
Yeah.
and did that at the end.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I basically had an out-of-body experience. I just made myself try and stand out a bit more, and
I
then
think that's sort of summed it up, because I know, because I'd auditioned. It's all right. It's a sore point for me. Just you know, I auditioned just before Wipeout. I auditioned for Gladiators, and I realised the mistake I made. I wasn't standing out. I was just thinking about doing the exercises, whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
personality, isn't it?
absolutely,
Yeah.
they want characters. They want
Exactly,
people
yeah.
that people want to watch.
Yeah.
So
So then, obviously, you do the audition, and I'm curious. This is the one question I haven't asked anyone else. From doing the audition to when you actually got the shortlist call, was that like stressful at all?
it was horrendous.
Yeah.
It was horrendous because I thought I did a good account
Yeah.
of myself. I thought in my group, I'm sure I stood out. There was a couple of
Yeah.
other people as well. I got flustered on a couple of questions on like if I was what's my favourite chocolate bar? If you want to sell me a chocolate bar,
Yeah.
sell me one. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I got a bit flustered. I thought I did a good account of myself, showing myself up. Honestly, I can't remember how long it was, but
Yeah.
it felt like years.
Yeah.
It really felt like years getting the phone call.
Was it? Were you almost getting to that point where you almost imagine your phone's ringing? You pull it out of your pocket. Oh, no one rang.
Yeah, I did constantly. I'd press my button, the button to
Yeah.
light up to see if I
Yeah,
missed a
yeah,
call
that's-
whilst
yeah.
I went to the toilet
Yeah.
or something.
That's
Yeah,
it, yeah.
it was tough,
Yeah.
tough times. I was like, I really want to get on this.
Yeah.
I've made
you
a
felt
pillock
like...
of myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
I deserve to be honest.
Exactly.
I made a proper pillock of myself.
I know,
Give me a
exactly. I know,
chance.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and it felt like forever. I can't remember how long it was. I don't think it was that long waiting.
It
But
just
I got the
feels
phone
like-
call, and it was just the most amazing phone calls.
Yeah.
I was grinning from ear to ear. I was absolutely buzzing.
I'm curious, when they called you, was it a two-stage? Was it one to say you're on the reserve, you're in the pool of people
I'm in
we're
the
looking
pool,
for?
yeah.
That's it, and then they don't tell you.
Yeah, they don't tell you. It's basically they try to warm you up. Get ready, but don't get too excited.
that's
it's
it.
like, but it's too late.
I know,
I'm already excited.
exactly,
I want in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like we've got a list of people. You're in that list of people. So get excited.
Yeah.
You could get another call. You'll get
That's
a
it,
follow-up
yeah,
call.
yeah.
And that call, waiting for that call, was even worse than waiting
yeah.
for the initial call.
'Cause
I've
you-
actually got through now,
Yeah.
but it's like it's so close but so
It's
far.
like the carrot's been dangling in front of you. It's like,
yeah.
please.
I'm still trying to
I
nibble.
know, exactly. I know.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, the calls, that were brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely, just completely lifted me. So excited and then so
Yeah.
nervous when you
I
realise
know, yeah.
that you're off to Buenos Aires. Oh
I
my
know.
God, I've got to get jabs. I've got to get my passport sorted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I had to have like tetanus or something.
Yeah,
I think mine was out of date or something. And I had to top up on it.
I had a top-up tetanus
Yeah.
jab as well. Yeah, so, but yeah, it does. It sort of gives you a proper lift.
Yeah.
Really gets you excited.
So, of course, what I'm curious about now is obviously, was it Gatwick or Heathrow that you had to go to meet up?
I think it was Heathrow actually. Yeah, it was Heathrow.
Yeah, for me, it was Heathrow. But was it easy finding everyone? Because they tell you normally to meet at, was it Cafe Nero or something?
Yeah, it was outside Cafe Nero. I'd say it was because I was one of the last people. We caught a train down.
Right.
I caught a train down. I didn't realise there was somebody else on the carriage.
right.
I can't remember who it was actually. I was just a bundle of nerves. We got to London Euston, and then there was someone waiting for us in a cab at London Euston, and they took me and this other person. I feel so bad. I'm really sorry if it was you.
It's been a long time, okay?
It's been 11 years.
Exactly, yeah.
We got a cab driven to Heathrow. Walked in. There was a big group of nervous people.
Right.
You couldn't really miss.
Yeah.
You couldn't miss the group. It's the same look on
Yeah.
everybody's face, like excitement but nervous. And you sort of get an idea as well. I looked around. Like, oh, he looks pretty fit. She looks pretty fit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a bit of competition here. It looks like fun.
Oh, you've just reminded me of something. I've got to ask you this. Okay, it's a 16-hour, just so everyone knows, it's a 16-hour flight over there.
Yep.
Is anyone sort of drinking a bit on the flight? I've heard of.
Actually, no, not on the way out. Not on the way
right,
out.
okay.
No, not on the way out. They were all pretty reserved.
You were better behaved than my lot.
Yeah,
they
I think
were
we
really
pretty
knocking it
reserved.
back.
I can't say I was fully reserved.
Yeah.
I had a couple.
Yeah.
I had a couple, just to take the edge
Yeah,
off. But yeah, I think they were pretty good.
Oh, yeah. No, they wanted to. They obviously were taking it seriously. They
Yeah,
wanted to do well.
yeah, maybe.
So yeah, because I'm curious, when you obviously you get the call, you sort of go out there. They ask you on the phone as well. How do you think you're going to do? I mean, what was your expectation going in there?
Well, originally I applied for the kids because I
Yeah.
wanted, I wanted them to see me on TV.
Yeah.
I wanted them to have a talking point
Yeah.
when they have kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Granddad
yeah.
was on
Yeah.
TV once.
Yeah.
So initially it was about that. It was about having fun. I'm quite a competitive person.
Right.
And then as it got closer and closer, and they were saying your expectations, why are you doing it? I said, well, I want to win.
Yeah.
I really want to
Yeah,
win.
yeah.
This is why I'm coming. I said
Yeah.
that it's all for fun, it's for my kids, but
Yeah.
ultimately I want to win.
Yeah.
That's what I've always been about. I've always
Yeah.
been competitive,
Yeah.
probably too competitive sometimes, but yeah, they asked me where I thought how I would fare. I mean,
Yeah.
they get a good indication
Yeah.
from the audition because,
Exactly.
like I say, it was pull-ups. It was
That's where they can measure out the people who are just going to have some fun on there and
Yeah.
those who are actually going to make
Gonna
some
compete.
headway. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I suppose probably what's best now is that we'll cut to a clip of a little highlight reel of you actually on the course. Then you can go into a bit more detail of what it was like actually playing the games and stuff.
Sure.
I ask you, what's with the T-shirt?
Yeah, this is my brother-in-law and his future wife-to-be. They're going to get married, and obviously I'm out here. I'm missing their wedding, so I'm feeling a bit gutted about it.
Can't believe you're missing their wedding.
And please don't make me feel any worse than what I already do.
I really hope Chris does well. The lengths that some people will go to for this show. For me, every wedding is centred around those two immortal words. But I wasn't thinking of those, Chris. He may have missed the free champagne and dancing to ABBA, but check this out. Another chair in the air. You can't say it wasn't worth it. As part of his training regime, Chris eats 6 bars of chocolate a day instead of his usual 8.
Well, you got big
That's
balls.
a sacrifice.
What you got?
Yeah. Oh, oh dear. Chocolate-coated Chris has a dash, and he's across too. Mars up to his old tricks. Yeah. Smart.
Not as easy as it looks.
And he's made it! Chocolate-coated Chris is the first through to the Wipeout zone today.
Facing the Wipeout zone tonight, that's why I'm here, and I will be standing there at the end, victorious. Getting to the final stage means everything. I don't want to come second, I don't want to come third. First is all that matters.
Chocolate-coated Chris is the final competitor. Off he goes. So if Chris lands the Tarzan swing, he will be tonight's total Wipeout champion. Yes, yes. Oh no, he's missed his landing. Chris steadies himself. He's got it now.
A bit of tag with the sweeper thing, you know. You just you kept touching it.
I thought I was able to pass it, so it gave me more time to get round, but...
All right, well, I'll tell you what. James was brilliant tonight, but you didn't need any more chocolate bars because you were faster. You were the total Wipeout champion! Well done! Good job!
Does that give you a little bit of a trip down memory lane?
It certainly does,
Yeah.
it certainly does. Yeah, some good memories, some not so good memories, but
Yeah.
overall.
Of course, it's one of those shows where you sort of, at the time, you think that it's just going to be on TV once and that was it. We didn't know that it was going to be repeated.
Oh, well,
loads
to
of
be
times.
honest, I do get posts on Facebook and people messaging me now, oh, you're on Challenge TV
Oh,
again,
really?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said the amount of times it's
Yeah.
been rerun and
Yeah.
replayed, so many people who haven't seen it, and oh, we've just seen you on TV, you didn't tell us
Yeah.
about this. Everyone knows,
Yeah.
everybody knows. And you think, I should get royalties
Yeah,
here,
I know,
like,
yeah.
even if it's like £1 for every
Yeah,
time
yeah.
it's shown.
It would help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever get people saying, can you lend us a £5?
I've had that at the start.
Yeah.
I know I've got no money left now, so
Yeah.
yeah.
But right, what I'm curious about now is that I just want to double check, because for our series, filming is done over 2 days. Basically, we meet up at Heathrow or Gatwick, whatever, fly out there. It's an overnight flight. Then we arrive, check in at the hotel, and then the next 2 days, day one is just on set doing the intros and the qualifier, and then you're back on set doing the rest of the show. Was it the same procedure for you?
For a lot of people on our episode, it was.
Right.
For me and a few others, it didn't quite go to plan, to be honest. And
Right.
I'm actually sort of glad you've asked this, because there's when I look back at obviously the shows, they appear on YouTube, you see people's comments, and you try not to read them sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's given me a chance to clear the air on
Okay.
this now. But there's comments that we were quite slow on our episode, and in fact I think we were the slowest 3 competitors out of the whole season 3.
Right.
And there was a very good reason for it, and people have even said in the comments why they slow. They all look so tired.
Yeah.
And the reason was when we all flew out there, as you explained, you fly out there, and I think you get the afternoon to yourself, don't you, when
That's
you
it,
get
yeah.
there.
The whole afternoon.
Yeah, the whole
and
afternoon.
Then you're just thrown straight into it.
Yeah, and then the next morning you go to the show, you do your photos, you do your promos with Amanda, you have your photos, you stand on that spinny thing where they make you dizzy.
Yeah, it fell off.
They do all that. And then I think we had lunch, and then they started the qualifier.
Right.
And a lot of the people did their qualifier, throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then I think there was 7 or 8 of us left towards the end.
Right.
And I was one of the back runners, and I asked, they chose an order, and they said if they're behind schedule filming, they tend to put a lot of who they think might perform faster towards the end, just in
right.
case they're running out of time.
Oh, I see.
So they do a
okay.
lot of the faster runners towards the end of the film. And I thought, I don't know if they're blowing smoke up my butt here, you know.
But it kind of gives you a bit of a confidence
Yeah, well,
boost,
it was,
thinking like,
it was a confidence
you're one of
booster
the
as well.
ones
So
to watch.
they must
Yeah.
think, you know, I'll
Yeah.
stand a chance here. I
Yeah.
thought, well, this is good, or, you know, I think you probably say that to everybody. But I think it must have sort of rung true. Like I said, there was around 7, 8 of us left. And then there was this absolutely horrendous thunderstorm that hit Buenos Aires, and it completely wiped out all the electrics, all the power for the show, and they had to stop it. So everything stopped at that point. We waited around. You know, the adrenaline was still pumping because I was,
Yeah, 'cause you have to, like, you know what it is with events, you have to like sort of like,
I'd psych myself up.
it's getting a bit windy. We've got to make sure the camera doesn't blow over again, because it might. Okay, iPad might blow over. We're going to keep that by here. Safety. Right, yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so there was this horrendous thunderstorm, a bit like what's just happened.
I know,
now, yeah.
exactly.
And we waited around, the adrenaline was pumping, and then they turned around and they said, look, it's not worth the risk now. We're gonna close up shop. You're all gonna come back tomorrow. And we said, well, how are we
You
going to
just
do
sat
it?
around on set all
We
day,
sat around all
getting
day.
yourself ready, and then to be
Yeah,
told,
absolutely
no.
psyched up. I was ready. I was pumped. I was psyched. I was going to do this,
Yeah.
and then they said, no, you're going to go tomorrow. So you know, I felt deflated. I felt you know,
Yeah.
really disappointed. I'd built myself up,
Yeah.
and then I didn't sleep at all that night.
No.
Absolutely didn't sleep at all. No idea how I was going to perform. So they called us next morning. We didn't go any early. It was
Right.
still the same time schedules that they worked to. Again, they started the qualifier next morning.
Right.
Everything was working back then.
Right.
I think I was probably third last to go
Right.
on that run. Did my run, and then they call us all into the area, and they just
Yeah.
tell you that is it the top 12
That's
people?
it, the top 12 to go there.
Top,
Yeah,
top,
it's
top
usually
12
Andy
people who
is the one
qualify.
doing it, yeah.
So they came in, they told us, and then said, get ready for crash dummies. So I was literally, I'd been around an hour, be doing the qualifier, and then having to do crash dummies. So it was already
And
getting
that's
on.
pretty tiring, that qualifier.
It
It's-
was.
yeah.
And that took a while to get through. So we
Yeah.
did that. We had lunch. I didn't eat anything.
You did. Hold on. So you did Crash Mountain before lunch, did you?
I
So you did
did.
the qualifier and Crash Mountain.
I
then
did
lunch.
Crush Mountain and
Right.
qualifier in the morning.
Right.
Had the lunch. Couldn't eat much. And then
I just realised you had lunch and then did Dizzy Dummies.
Dizzy Dummies. Yeah.
Oh, that's just cruel. They
Yeah.
actually.
I
thought
think
they
it was
would-
I think it was
Yeah.
a purposeful thing. I'm sure it was a purposeful thing. I didn't eat
Was
much.
it Endemol? Please tell us. We want to know.
Yeah. So again, after lunch, it weren't that long after then. It was Dizzy Dummies, and then
Yeah.
the pontoon sort of
Right.
thing. So it was at stage 3.
Yeah.
So obviously I got through Crash Mountain, got to stage 3, and again, it wasn't that long after lunch. Again, was it a tactic because people had eaten?
Yeah.
I was
I just
feeling.
thought if it wasn't that long after lunch, then you've got all that food in you, and
Yeah,
that's.
well, I didn't have much food in me at all.
Okay, right.
And again, there's 6 of us for that section
Yeah.
for the third round. We were all pretty tired by that
Yeah.
point, and the tiredness was shown on everybody. It was like, I mean, obviously they cut the show.
They mentioned that. I'm sure they mentioned.
They
that,
mentioned it a
like,
few
they're
times.
looking
Everyone's
yeah.
looking tired.
Right.
Basically, we done
Yeah,
one event
yeah,
after the other, after
yeah,
the other.
so,
Not
yeah.
over 2 days. It was
Yeah,
all on
it was
day
literally
one.
all crammed in,
So
yeah.
it felt like a big thing. It was
Yeah.
like I hadn't really got much rest. And that section of stage 3 actually took around an hour to film. Because we were just so tired, it was
Yeah.
flipping. People had got no energy
Yeah,
to
yeah,
try and
got-
get it.
yeah.
Yeah, so it took around an hour. And as you see, I was the first person across.
Yeah.
I collapsed.
That's it. Yeah.
And
I know. We just
I'd
dropped.
got nothing left in the
Yeah.
tank, and I thought, I've no idea how I'm going to.
Yeah.
I knew, obviously, I was first across.
Yeah.
I've got through to the final. I don't know how I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I was watching, and obviously, Crime Scene James got through,
Yeah.
and then Musk got through, and it's
Yeah.
like, do you know what? I'm in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah.
And then we got back in, and I sat with the guys, and like Musk had got a bit of an injury. He said, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it.
Right.
I said, you've made it this far.
Yeah.
Do not pull out now. You've got to
Yeah.
do it. Whatever you're doing, if it's as slow as you are,
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah,
You-
exactly.
You'll hate
You'll-
yourself. You'll
if you
regret it
didn't
for
do
the rest
it,
of your
yeah,
life.
it's true.
And he did, and,
Yeah.
and he thanked me, for talking him through. You know, I got a lot of time for him. He was
That's
a good guy.
Yeah.
And James as well. he was absolutely wiped out.
Yeah.
And actually, you can see because James, didn't he? Crime Scene James, he came second in the champion show.
To Brian.
Yeah, to Brian, and
Yeah.
Brian's phenomenal.
I know,
athlete, isn't he?
exactly, yeah.
And like, I spoke to James after he'd done. I said, "You did amazing there." I said,
Yeah.
"What was the difference?" He goes, "I wasn't wiped out." He said,
Yeah.
I was absolutely dead that first show when we had no time to rest, and we bang, bang, bang. I've got nothing left in the tank, and he said it felt very different. I've got more time to prepare. I've got more energy.
Isn't it amazing the difference from one day to the next? How it can just change the whole
Absolutely,
dynamics of everything.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And he said he had a brilliant run in that final.
Yeah.
He really, it was. It's no.
It seemed
it's no,
like in your series, it seemed like the non-champions were really fired up in that one because they were really sort of really going for it.
Yeah. So it was good. But like I say, I'm setting the record straight. We did everything on in one segment, and it felt like there was no real time to rest, recuperate, and prepare for the next one. And you get hit by that thing on Crash Mountain, you get smacked in the water, it takes the wind out of you.
Because it looked like on the show, it seems as if they just edged it so it looked like your first run across,
it wasn't? No, I fell in several times.
Right.
Several times. They sped that up quite fast the first few times. Yeah, it was fun, but man, it really takes the wind out of you.
They have a twisted sense of humour, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, it really takes the wind out of you. And it's like when I did the qualifier, I hit the second ball, I rolled off, and I sort of belly flopped it, but face first.
Oh,
and it felt, it was painful. And trying to swim to the side to climb out, it was awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
The worst thing is if you're too far away from the ladder, that ladder feels like a miles away. Like,
absolutely.
It's going to take ages. Yeah.
So I'd like, it's been a long time coming. It's been 11 years now. People saying, we were really slow.
So I suppose obviously you've YouTubed your own episode.
Yeah.
You're sort of more.
Well, someone has done them all, and I caught it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do. You read the comments, and I wasn't looking forward to it because I know how slow we looked. But for me, there was a valid reason. I mean, and I say, I didn't perform so well in the champion show, but James did.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that
Thing is, it's sort of one of those ones. I don't know about you, but I mean, were you quite? I mean, your face at the end when you won it seemed quite startled.
Absolutely shocked. I'll be honest, because of how bad I felt I performed.
Yeah.
I've got absolutely nothing in the tank. As soon as we came down that ramp,
yeah,
I got onto the platform to run up.
Yeah.
Thought 10 seconds, no problem.
Yeah.
I slipped straight away and I thought, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And I saw the water come down and hit me. And it was like, I got through, and then I tried to time it for the sweeper arm to go through, and again, I was just so tired, it hit me, and it was draining.
I suppose really, if you're tired as well, your coordination, everything drops, doesn't it? And that will have a massive effect on you.
It did. I don't try to make excuses, but it did. I felt I'd got nothing in the tank.
Yeah.
And like I say, the other guys, you could see it on all three of our faces how tired we absolutely looked. And it was hard, but I'm going here. I can set the record straight now.
Yeah, exactly.
We were tired
because
we did everything all on the same day.
One everything you see on TV is not everything is not always as it appears. There are other little factors that go on.
Yeah.
Of course, the other thing as well, a lot of people who make these comments online, I'd like to see them sort of try the show because
to be honest,
dump someone in that situation, and when that's the thing, whether you're ready or not, when the whistle goes or the klaxon, whatever, you've just got to go with whatever's thrown at you.
Got to zone, haven't you?
And like from one day to the next, we do not know how we're going to. Someone could do an absolute blinder one day, and then the next day just be absolutely nowhere. So it was it's good that you've said that because I can't believe that you had to cram it all into one day.
Yeah, it's still. I still think about it now.
Yeah.
Could I have done better? Possibly, I don't know.
I think all of us have that nagging feeling. We look at different things that, I
could have done that. Yeah, I should have tackled it. It's like the sweeper arm, I still bugs me. Why didn't I just go at that point? Trust yourself.
It's a thing. I don't know about you, but I would love to be able to just play on the course for fun and have some practice.
Absolutely.
But because the clock's ticking, you can't worry about that. You just have to go, and that's it, and that's your turn. And
I mean, you're right. And again, in the final, you've no idea how anyone else has done.
Yeah.
And obviously I was up against Muzz, I was up against James, and I was the last to run that.
Right.
And I had it in my head, have they put me last because they think I'm going to be the faster one and they're against timing, or is it all psychological again? I went with, they think I'm going to win.
Yeah.
But then it was such a long gap between each runner going out.
Right.
I mean, I think Muzz went first, and the time was a long time. And I thought, are they resetting all the obstacles? Are they changing things with the timings, the filming? Is there something on set they've got to do? And I wasn't sure if it was because he'd done a long run or if he'd done a really fast run. And your mind's playing tricks.
Am I right? They put headphones on for you.
Headphones in the.
We didn't have that. So that you're literally shielded from everything.
Yeah, we was in a tent. You had headphones. You're pacing up and down. And then they called James. James went out. He went out, and it felt like for a similar amount of time. And I thought they're going to be doing something with a set. I had absolutely no idea how he'd done or how Muzz had done. And then, I mean, obviously, they keep the person who's got the faster time waiting, don't they?
Yeah.
You don't even see that person.
Oh, really? You didn't see?
I didn't see that person. It was focused on every obstacle. And even at the end, when I jumped on to press the button, I stood straight off. I thought, I'm going in again, I'm in trouble. And that's when I pressed it.
Right.
And it's like, I felt defeated. I thought, I'm dead. I've got nothing in me. There's no way on this earth I've won that. And that face was shocked, thinking, no way, how did I win that? How? Really? So, it was utter shock. It was a nice feeling when it finally sank in. But it was shock. I honestly didn't think I'd won. So
it's a very nice feeling when it does happen. The reason I say that is because I was convinced, like when I did mine, I thought, I didn't do enough. That's okay. I thought, well, I'll probably come second or third. I'm happy with that. And then they say, what?
One of my first thoughts was after winning. Actually, we was on the coach going back to the hotel. Was how the hell am I going to fit that trophy into my case? My case isn't big enough. Only to find you don't get to keep the trophy. I was like, oh no. I was gutted.
Actually, I was going to ask you about that because I've been sort of curious. I asked them, I said, do I get to keep it? And they went, no, buy your own trophy.
We've got to use it for the show.
We've got to use it for the next people.
I've got plans. I was going to leave some clothes. I was going to readjust things in my suitcase. No.
I had this life plan all together and they shattered it in one go.
Absolutely. So,
but I suppose you had the money. You could have bought a trophy.
Well, I could have, but I had a driveway that needed doing. A driveway for a house. I don't live there anymore. So
actually, that was something I was curious about because what you'd spent the money on. Does it all go on this driveway? Or?
We treat the kids. It was basically for a driveway. We'd got a garden. And we wanted some off-road parking. As boring as it is, we wanted off-road parking. So
sometimes it's used for practical stuff. Okay?
And they do ask questions actually in the audition. I remember what you're going to spend the money on.
Oh what did you tell them?
And I didn't say I wanted to buy a driveway because I think I probably said something like loose car and fast women.
I got to go to Vegas and wax the lot.
It was something stupid. It was like, no, really, practically I want it for a driveway, but that wouldn't have got me anywhere. So
brilliant. So anyway, what I'm curious about is after doing Wipeout, what sort of other stuff do you do? Because obviously you said you were into quite a lot of fitness anyway at the time. So,
I stopped my martial arts. I'm getting old.
Right.
I mean, I was going for gradings, 3-4 hour gradings. Our instructor, he beats you, probably beats you. And it felt like I'd been on a Wipeout course after a grading, for days and days. So I thought my body's not coping with the beatings and the being punched and kicked anymore. So I got into obstacle course racing. So I call it OCR, obstacle course racing. So I do a lot of them.
A friend of mine does a few of those. So he's
Well, I started off doing the Wolf Runs. It's a local one.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, the Wolf Runs. It's Leamington Spa and Leominster Way, I think.
What sort of distances are these events?
Well, again, they can vary. You can do 5Ks. The average ones are around 10K.
Right. 10K with obstacles.
With obstacles,
Is it like every kilometre or something?
It depends because there's some when I first started doing Wolf Runs, there was an 80-metre open lake swim. Which wasn't great. Swimming's not my forte, especially in April. Swimming in an open lake in April is not fun. So around 10K. I sort of progressed. The more I did, the more I wanted to get competitive, so I moved into. I did Tough Mudders, which were 10 mile.
Right.
I graduated into Spartans, so I moved into age group.
Those,
they were hard. So there was like a super, which was around the 10K mark. There's a sprint, which is 5K. And then there's the Beast, which is like half marathon and around 40 obstacles. But the thing with these, I mean, a lot of the Wolf Runs and things like that, they're fun, they're brilliant when you're doing with a group of people. You get muddy, you just have such an amazing laugh. I recommend a Wolf Run or an obstacle course. Like if you've got a local one, please Go get a group of friends. It's like being a kid again. Get muddy and your parents don't tell you off.
This is what I just want to say. My mate Andy, if you're watching this, he has been pestering me for years. Said, "Oh, you got to come and do
Andy,
these."
get him on it. Get him on it. He'll change his life. Change his life.
I keep making excuses like, "Oh, I got a bit of problem with the hip." or something
Honestly,
like that.
it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But then I got into competitive. I was doing age group for Spartans. I mean, I'm 48 now.
Right.
And like even in my age group, there's some absolute phenomenal athletes.
Yeah.
So I've sort of gone back down to open waves.
Right.
But one of the bigger ones I've just done was the Spartan trifecta in Wales.
Also, can I
last
just
October.
check? You said about sort of waves. If you're doing like age group waves, is that like the real competitive ones where you're really
Yeah.
sort of right?
Yeah, so basically what happens is you've got to do the obstacle.
Yeah.
Like the fun run obstacles, like in Wolf, you do them. If you don't do them, you can bypass them.
Oh, okay.
Spartan,
That's
if you're
what Andy
compete,
talks about,
yeah, you're in open wave,
Yeah.
you're supposed to do the
Yeah.
penalties, but most people don't. I say most.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
If you're age group, you've got to do the penalties. So
Right.
for Spartan, you'll say do a rope climb. If you don't ring the bell at the top, you've got to do 30 burpees. I remember my first super.
Yeah.
I failed 5 obstacles. I did 120 burpees plus a 10k run. And burpees aren't my favourite exercise.
No, they're vile.
Yeah. So
If anyone's watching, if you ever tried a burpee, they are evil.
Yeah.
Okay, just don't do them.
yeah, so
Horrible.
That was hard.
Yeah.
But then one of the hardest ones I've done was the trifecta in Wales, which was
Oh, this is what I've heard of.
over the
this.
Brecon Beacons.
Right.
And we did on the Saturday. It was
Bad
it
enough
was
just walking up there.
yeah. It was last October, end of October, 31st, and there was localised flooding.
Right.
It just came down. It was like being in Argentina again
Yeah,
with a thunderstorm. And
You have this thing about obstacle course and
yeah,
bad weather, don't you?
yeah,
It kind of follows
absolutely.
you around.
It does.
Yeah.
There's always
I
a
know.
dark
I
rain
know.
cloud over my head.
But we've picked a sunny day so far,
Yeah,
but that
yeah.
might change. You never know. Yeah.
So yeah, I did the Brecon Beacons. So
Right.
we did the half marathon. I think it was around 2,000 metres of elevation
Right.
in total. So it was 13 miles on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Then you come back on the Sunday morning. You do the 10k super, and then you finish off an hour later and do the 5k. 5k's never 5k's, 6,
Right.
7k penalty loops. You know,
Right.
could be longer. I remember my beast. With the penalty laps again, because I didn't manage some of the obstacles, I was tired.
Yeah.
Big thing with me, tiredness,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
And
Yeah.
mind you, I think we do in obstacle races, it kind of goes hand in hand, really,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Because they're not.
Well, I mean, it's 21k.
Oh, there's a point. Do you get muddy on these things as well?
You do. That's
So
the best
there's a
part.
bit of a theme
not,
running
not,
here, yeah.
Not Spartan. Not
Oh, okay,
Spartan
right,
so
yeah.
much. There's a bit of mud, but yeah, the local mud runs. They're
That's-
mud runs.
Ah, right, okay, because that's why with Andy, I know Andy, you'll be watching this. Is that sometimes he literally is just. It's like we've just fallen in the mud pit on sucker punch or whatever, just cakes in
Well,
it.
to be honest, it's me reliving my Wipeout days again. So
Yeah.
my name was
Exactly.
Chocolate Coated Chris.
Yeah.
I like to
You
cover
just-
myself
yeah,
in mud,
exactly,
pretend
yeah.
I'm still Chocolate Coated Chris.
Actually, you just remind me of something else. On the show, they said that you were eating 8 bars of chocolate a day, but cut down to 6. Was that for real, or were they just?
That's absolutely true.
Oh, okay.
That's absolutely true. I did cut
Actually,
down to 6. I think I'm probably around 8 again these days.
I'm the same. I've got to
Yeah.
be honest.
I don't need my energy.
Exactly. Yeah, we burn it off. We can do that sort of thing. I've always wondered about that because I thought, is it just me that shovels down?
No, I do.
chocolate?
Well, I work for a chocolate company, a famous
right,
chocolate
yeah.
company.
Oh, so you're still working
I'm
there?
still there. Yeah, I've been
All
there
these-
for nearly 30 years
Do
now.
you get free chocolate as a result?
We've got a chocolate shop. I
Right.
do get my hands on free chocolate from time
Nice.
to time. Yeah. So
I'm probably going to be buying some chocolate.
and
later.
chocolate is a great currency. You can use
yeah.
chocolate to buy your way around a lot of things and a lot of favours.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, it's great. I love working there, to be honest.
So are you still doing? The OCRs regularly now?
Yeah,
Or is that
I
still-
in fact I did. I went down to Kent end of June. Just did a
Right.
dirty rotten scramble.
Right.
That was that was brutal. That was 20 miles. So
Yeah.
30k trail run, but there was around in total it was 3 10k laps, but there was 11 swims and wades on each lap.
Just thinking, trail runs are a lot slower than a road
Yeah,
sort of.
4.5 hours, but
Just about-
there
that's
was a
how
lot
long
of
does it take?
swims as well.
Okay, yeah.
So like the swimming takes it out, and like completely watched throughout swimming.
I'll tell you now, what you're describing, this is kind of the stuff that Brian does, you know, from
Yeah.
your series. I mean, he literally, because...
Well, he does triathlons, doesn't he?
He does triathlons, snowdoning marathon, he
Ironmans,
does.
yeah. No,
But the thing is, you're
just for
going
a
for
weekend.
similar... Yeah, exactly, he does that for fun, but you're doing these things as well. I mean, you're going for similar periods of time, you know, 3, 4...
I'm nowhere near the levels of obviously Brian. He's a superhuman. I do a lot of them for fun now. I did get into the competing side of it again. And I found actually I enjoy it more when I'm doing it with a group of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I am going down to a race in November. My favourite races are in the winter.
Oh, okay.
Because it's colder, it's harder.
Oh, okay.
And I prefer the challenge more.
Oh,
I like the sun. I love
Yeah.
the sun. But I like running when it's so cold you can't feel your fingers.
Oh, do you know what? Again, I've only done like half marathon and stuff, but I did one where I had gloves on. I couldn't fit. I hated it.
Yeah, I love the cold because you have to embrace the suck.
Right.
You have to embrace it. You have to do
I see
it.
this way you're tougher than me. I'm a bit soft like that.
Yeah.
I prefer warm weather like this.
No, I like the cold. The colder and the wetter.
Yeah.
It makes it harder, and the more I enjoy it because it feels more of a sense of achievement doing it. The more challenging it is, the more I get a buzz out of it the next few days after thinking about, do you know what, that was really hard. That was so hard, but that was really good as well. And it was fun. Yeah. It was fun.
Oh, excellent. So, actually, you saying about the sort of sense of achievement. Okay, let's bring it back to Wipeout just to wrap things up, because obviously you achieved a lot, winning 10k on it. If the show was to ever sort of come back, what sort of advice would you give to someone to try and sort of emulate what you did?
It's actually funny you say that because at work, obviously people knew I'd been on the show. Someone I knew, not very well, but you know, obviously it's a big place. They saw I'd been on the show and they actually came up to me and asked, you know, got any advice for me for the audition? And I said, yeah, I have actually. And I think what helped me stand out for me was when I was auditioning, you basically have to have an out-body experience. You have to stand out from the crowd. And I said, you've got to have, if you can, not a gimmick as such, but have something that represents you. They tell you to represent you. And I knew she played rugby. Right. And I said, that is perfect, because what I would do for you is surprise them. When it comes up to your interview, do all your obstacles. When it comes to the interview, do a rugby tackle on him. Tackle the presenter, stand out.
Right.
And she did.
Oh,
and
brilliant,
she got onto, I think it was the winter Wipeout she got
okay.
on. Yeah, she got on, and you know, she thanked me for it. She said, "Oh, it worked what you said." So stand out, not have a gimmick, but have something about you. But do something that's going to make them notice.
I get you, because I suppose they're seeing loads of people all the time. You've got to think, it's easy seeing about 100 people, but how do you stand out from the
Give them something that they want.
Yeah.
Even if you feel uncomfortable, give them something that they want. I felt really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you
Step
know,
outside your comfort
step
zone.
outside your comfort zone. But yeah, if you're going to do something like that, make yourself get noticed. Do something that they want to see. What you think they might want to see.
Brilliant. Well, look, I think we've pretty much covered everything now. Chris, what's interesting to know, this is actually the first time we've met. We've known each other for about 12 years now, thanks to social media. When the show, do you know, I've got to ask, was it on Digital Spy? Do you remember that forum talk about the ratings?
It was Digital Spy.
It was. That was because I remember you were making a few comments talking about ratings, and then I think you made some sort of hints that you'd been on the show, and I think we started messaging each other from that.
I think it was. And then it was a Facebook connect. It was.
So God,
Digital Spy.
That's a long time ago now. Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Google it. It's a website that kind of deals with TV ratings.
TV ratings, yeah.
Obviously, we were quite interested in the ratings, how many people were watching us fall off things.
Yeah.
And all these years we've literally never met, and today is the first time. So it's kind of funny how this one's worked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, no, thanks ever so much for doing this.
No, my pleasure. I've enjoyed
obviously,
it.
You've helped give us a bit more insight on. I still can't believe you had to do all the events in one day.
Yeah, I like I say, I'm glad you've given me the chance to put the record
straight. Oh, good.
Straight.
Yeah. It's going to be out there now.
Yeah,
so
please.
People will know. Yeah.
Please.
All right, nice one, Chris. All right, great chatting to you, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
Awesome. All right.